Whatever brought you here today, stay with this video for a few minutes. Because if you want to become financially successful in the future, one question matters more than how much money you make today. What does your money allow you to survive, control, and build when your circumstances change? Many people think future millionaires understand a secret investment, a perfect market strategy, or a faster way to increase income. The less obvious difference is that they understand money as a system of choices rather than simply a number in a bank account. So what does that actually mean? It means they ask a different question when money arrives. Instead of asking, what can I afford now, they ask, what future capability does this money create? That distinction changes spending, saving, investing, education, career decisions, and even the way a person responds to financial uncertainty. Consider someone whose entire lifestyle depends on maintaining one level of income. Their salary may be excellent, but if the income stops, the lifestyle immediately becomes vulnerable. Another person may earn less while building savings, transferable skills, diversified sources of income, and controlled expenses. Their financial position can be more resilient even before they become wealthy. This leads to an important search question: is a high income enough to become wealthy? No, high income creates opportunity, but wealth requires converting income into assets, resilience, productive skills, and future choices. A person earning substantially more can still remain financially fragile if spending expands at the same speed as income. This is why lifestyle inflation can quietly prevent wealth creation. Every increase in earnings becomes another permanent obligation. The future millionaire therefore studies cash flow, not merely income. Cash flow answers a practical question: after money enters your life, where does it actually go? Housing, food, transportation, family responsibilities, debt payments, insurance, education, entertainment, taxes, and unexpected expenses all compete for the same income. If too much of that income becomes permanently committed, financial freedom remains distant regardless of how impressive the gross earnings appear. This creates another question: how much financial runway does a person really need? The answer depends on essential expenses, income stability, debt obligations, employability, and the number of people depending on that income. The important principle is not a universal savings target, it is understanding how long your existing resources can protect your essential life if new income suddenly disappears. And this is where many people misunderstand emergency savings. Savings do not merely buy things. They buy time. Time to search for another job without accepting the first desperate offer. Time to retrain when an industry changes. Time to protect a business during a weak period. Time to make a rational decision instead of a panic-driven one. That makes liquidity psychologically valuable as well as financially valuable. Financial stress narrows attention. When people become preoccupied with immediate bills, they can become more focused on short-term relief and less capable of evaluating long-term consequences. Preparing before the crisis therefore protects not only the balance sheet, but also the quality of future decisions. Now consider an even deeper question: what happens if your savings are not enough? Your most important financial asset may then be the ability to generate new income. Skills can function like productive capital. Communication, technical knowledge, leadership, problem solving, sales ability, analytical thinking, creativity, and the capacity to learn can continue producing economic value even when a particular job disappears. This becomes increasingly important as artificial intelligence and automation change the structure of work. The relevant question is not simply, will artificial intelligence take jobs? A better question is, which human capabilities become more valuable when technology changes how work is performed? People who can use new tools, understand problems, make decisions, communicate clearly, manage complexity, and create value may adapt faster than people whose economic identity depends entirely on performing one routine task. That is why future wealth may depend increasingly on adaptability rather than on one permanent career identity. There is also a behavioral reason people struggle with this idea. Humans naturally value immediate rewards more strongly than distant benefits. Spending money today produces an immediate emotional result. Building financial resilience often produces no visible reward at all. So how does someone overcome that tendency? By making future security concrete. Instead of seeing savings as money that cannot be spent, see them as purchasing future options. Instead of seeing education as an expense, ask whether it increases future earning capacity. Instead of seeing every investment as a path to wealth, ask what risk it introduces and what role it plays in the larger financial system. This is where the qualities associated with Lord Hanuman become practically relevant. Hanuman represents extraordinary strength, but that strength is directed by discipline, wisdom, humility, and devotion. Apply to money. Strength does not mean taking the greatest financial risk. It can mean having the courage to understand your numbers honestly, the discipline to control unnecessary commitments, the humility to keep learning, and the wisdom to distinguish opportunity from temptation. The Ramayana also offers a powerful lesson about capability. Hanuman's strength was not created at the moment it was needed. It was already present. What changed was his recognition of it and his decision to act. Financial resilience works similarly. The skills, knowledge, relationships, health, discipline, and savings you build before difficulty arrives may become the resources that allow you to respond when circumstances change. That leads to the most important question in this entire subject: what do future millionaires understand about money that others may overlook? They understand that money is ultimately a tool for preserving and expanding human agency. Money can give you time to learn, capacity to withstand setbacks, freedom to choose, resources to build something productive, and the ability to serve people without every decision being controlled by immediate financial pressure. But wealth without self-mastery can simply create larger versions of the same problems. That is why gratitude belongs in a serious conversation about wealth. Gratitude does not mean becoming passive or pretending that financial problems do not exist. It means recognizing the resources already available while continuing to improve them. A grateful person can pursue greater wealth without allowing wealth to become the measure of personal worth. And perhaps that is the deeper financial lesson. The goal is not merely to become someone who has more money. The goal is to become someone who can create value, preserve resources, adapt when conditions change, remain rational under pressure, and use prosperity with responsibility. That is why the future millionaire mindset begins long before the millionaire balance sheet. It begins when you stop asking only, how much money can I make? And start asking, what kind of person, capability, and financial system must I build so that money continues to create choices even when life does not go according to plan? With the courage of Hanuman, the discipline to prepare before the crisis, the humility to keep learning, and gratitude for every resource already in your hands, money becomes more than wealth. It becomes resilience, freedom, responsibility, and the capacity to serve. And that may be the understanding that separates someone who simply earns money today from someone who is quietly building the foundations of wealth for tomorrow.